Have you ever thought about how those big studios implement a lot of the lore in their games? Not because it's needed, but because of the love of the art. Because it gives the games such a depth and overhaul and makes them better. And that's the point of this video, more or less. In today's video I will be talking about the whole ultrakill lore. Well, as I say, more or less. Basically, I will divide this subject in two videos. In the first one, that will be this, we will talk about everything that happened before B1 came to Hell, before the game started. And the other one will be about everything that we face until the violence layer, because, you know, Hakita wouldn't like to end the game until he has the opportunity of transforming every single aspect of it. So I guess that's what we have. So go grab a snack, get comfortable, and without further ado, let's start with the video. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Then God said, "Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea, the birds in the sky, over the livestock, and over all the wild animals, and over all of the creatures that move along the ground." God saw all that he had made, and it was very good. And there was evening, and there was morning the sixth day. But God soon realized his mistake.
Mankind is a failure. Free will is a flaw. Let the evil of their own lips consume them. Then I shall begin again with my word as a law.
God discovered that the destructive nature of the human being, and he was angry about it. So he tried to make a new humanity, but it wasn't easy.
Failure after failure after failure after failure, the results refuse to act. Again and again and again and again and again, my faith begins to flutter. Uncountable cycles of creation wasted. Uncountable formulas for mind without free will wasted. Damned is the man for failing to follow my rule, my word, my law. Damned to be an eternity of torture and suffering, the wailing and the gasping of death. I have created hell, and now I can no longer make it. Father, why eternal torment? Is it not cruel? Is torture not daring truly a fate fit for a fool? An angel so bright and beautiful asked me this, and I couldn't find no answer, for I could never face the guilt of what I've done. My regret, a gnarling cancer. In my hour of weakness, terror possessed me, and I cast Lucifer into the infernal den. Once I realized what I've just known, I could only weep as I sank slowly to the depths of despair. Deep, so deep. I'm hollow, my mistakes leave nothing but hate in the way, and infinite pain to follow. I can't take any more of this guilt and regret. For me, there's no tomorrow. I'm hollow, I begin to see to the end of my days. But when I started into the beast adverted its lace. Now, this lets us see two things about God. First, he isn't almighty because he couldn't create a race that followed his word as law and had free will at the same time. And second, he isn't perfect. He makes mistakes, he gets carried away by his wrath, hate, and fear. And as I was saying, the 6th of the 7th Testament hasn't been released because the game is in early access, but with everything that we have right now, we can see that in sense, God is human as his creations, which explains why he ended hating himself so much that he just disappeared. We don't know if he's actually dead or simply left his creation to follow his luck. The only thing that we know for sure is that everything went to hell because of it. The humanity of the ultrakill universe isn't too far away from us. The breaking point of the reality came in 1918, specifically in November, where in our universe the First World War was ending. In ultrakill universe, everything was getting worse. In this situation, the things were so bad that instead of World War I was called the Final War, in which the worst creation was made, the greatest expression of violence and war, the blood-powered machines. According to the terminals, the first machine created with blood was the Gutterman. Built in the early days of the Final War, the Gutterman were one of the first successful experiments using blood as fuel, as well as the first automaton to be deployed in wide-scale conflict. During the war's first phase, an era of trench warfare, these seemingly unstoppable walls
were airdropped into enemy trenches, which they will then slowly and systematically clear out, as all opposing soldiers will have to choose between being missed by the gunnerman or running out of the trench and getting mown down by machine gun fire. Researchers had not yet found a way to keep blood inside the machines fresh, so a life source fuel was strapped inside, kept alive by minimal life support before the gunnerman were welded shut. Although publicly these fuel sources were claimed to be volunteers patriots, most were deserters, battle-fatigued returners, or prisoners of war. And it was obvious that other nations would have to be inspired by this creation. In that moment, the arms race began. The progress went to a point where the Earth Mover became a real thing, a Goliath that was capable of decimating a whole city in question of minutes. The problem is that a thing that height had was hard to power. The blood process wasn't enough, so the people built it with the capacity of absorb daylight, and even though everything was working at the start, eventually the people found out that the safest places to be was in the Earth Movers. So everyone decided to move into them, but this wasn't it. You see, the war causes death in many ways, and you could think that the obvious ones, but it also causes destruction, leading to hunger and disease. But you know what also causes? Pollution. A thick black layer of pollution that didn't even let the sun get inside of the ozone layer. So consequently, the Earth Movers started failing. In that point, the people decided that the war was in fact something bad. Who could have guessed it? And so the restant humans tried to clean the environment using repurposed technology to build a new world. Fortunately, the people dropped the last drop in the glass when the gates of the hell were opened. Like, literally, we don't know how the human race went extinct, but the fact is that it only happened after the start of the Halo expeditions. And talking about hell, I figured it out. I know why the creatures are suddenly and undetectably appearing inside of facilities. And I know why spare parts and pieces of machines keep disappearing. I know why the doors seem to malfunction and suddenly lock themselves. It's not a glitch system, it's hell. Hell, it's alive. It breathes, it thinks. The entire area is a massive intelligent superorganism. And it is harsh and it is cruel. Just by watching us has learned how our systems and machines work. It has not only begun to deconstruct our technology, but apparently assemble it in perverse ways, attaching parts to the creatures that it tortures, making them into an endless army of death and destruction. It warps them across itself to get past our security. It locks our traps, it locks our doors to trap us with them. This is not an attack, nor a defense. This is entertainment. This is an exhibition of death and cruelty and suffering for its own sake. It had grown tired of what it has, and we willingly just offer ourselves up as new playthings. Don't, please, for the love of God, cancel this project immediately. We have to abandon everything and seal this place away. Leave the machines and tools behind. Evacuate as many as we can before it's too late. I can only hope this encrypted message is received before the organism dares to read it and intercept it, whatever happens. We cannot let this thing find a way out and spread to the surface. We have... Even the fact that the enemies teleport and doors close when you enter a room is not simply a gameplay decision, it's the act of hell. It enjoys it and uses it as entertainment. It knows that we are efficient at doing chaos and it likes it. We can confirm these things to some terminals, like the terminal of the Minotaur, that says, "The Minotaur, one of the oldest known surviving demons, was sculpted by as a gift for the then Judge of Hell, Minos, in attempt to form some kind of rapport. Though this creator considered it beautiful, a personalized monument of death and despair, Minos was terrified of the gross caricature of his past mistakes, and cast it into the Garden of Forking Paths. hoping it will never be seen again. This tells a lot, specifically in the underlying part. As you may see, the first word is 4 letters long, and the second is 6 letters long. And clearly the word that could fit there will be hell itself, and the whole community thinks that as well. Another piece of evidence is the bug found in 7-4.
This is the only way it could have ended. We are no longer needed its ultimate practice center. It had become a self-sustaining system. Man was crushed under the wheels of a machine created to create a machine to crush the machine. Some sort of continue and crush both. Death without life none. Or boros. All that remain is war without a reason. A magnum opus, I call it the Tower of Steel. A machine built to end war is always a machine built to continue war. You were beautiful, outstretched like antennas to heaven. You were beyond your creators. You reached out for God, and you fell. None were left to speak your elegy. No final words, no concluding statement, no but perfect closure. This is the only way it should have been.
We can see how hell loves violence and war, and so it's no surprise that it kept alive in the Violence Layer, and some could say that it doesn't have anything special. We have seen other machines in other layers, and you will be right, but in the terminals of the Mannequin, Gutterman and Guttertank, in addition to the fact that the Gutterman was created in the first decades of 1900, and the time that the games take place is around the 22nd century, there's at least 200 years of difference. And I think that nobody could survive 200 years in the conditions that the prisoners of the Gutterman were. Oh yeah, if you didn't know, for the Gutterman to be alive, there is need for a human in the coffin on back of the machine. A human that is in such precarious conditions alive. And also just became, I don't know how to go into the next thing, hell modifies the sinners and yeah, subscribe. That isn't a question. When someone who has enough power, will, or status dies, his soul transforms into a being so powerful that doesn't need a host to exist, and at the time, we only know two prime souls. The first one was the King Minos, the judge of hell, the one who decided where the sinners go, but he had a special empathy for the inhabitants of the loose layer. He thought that the people shouldn't be condemned to hell just because they love each other. So he decided that everyone should work to build something bigger than themselves, and he just needed the right motivation. Minos didn't take long. He united the people of the Lost Layer and they built a monument to love that King Minos had for the humans. And since God left the server, they thought that they were safe, that nothing could go wrong. Unfortunately, a group of angels that created the Council of Heaven, we will talk about it later, decided that Minos went against the word of the Creator. So they sent Gabriel, the strongest angel, to take care of the situation. Minos thought he could convince Gabriel that he didn't have to fight. Poor Minos was murdered in a second. The only thing that remained was his dead body, left to be eaten and controlled by parasites, and things kept worse. Minos had enough status and power to become a prime soul. The bad part about this is that Gabriel trapped him inside his body, where he was only able to see how his body destroyed everything that he worked so hard to get. The other known prime soul is Sisyphus, the ruler of the 5th layer of hell. Unlike Minos, Sisyphus wasn't an honorable man. He seeked his own advantage, and what made him a big king was the fact that he felt satisfied out of his problems. So much satisfaction that the second God left the server, he said, I'm quite bored, so why not make a revolution against heaven? You know, it's normal Tuesday. But his destiny was the same as Minos. He knew he was fighting a losing battle, that even if they miraculously survive this encounter, they have no chance at winning a full-scale war against the hell of heaven. Yet he trusted his full heart and soul into the battle with a white smile in his face. To him, fighting an impossible battle with full knowledge that of his futility and taking joy in just the act of resilience itself is the ultimate rebellion against the oppressor. One must imagine Sisyphus happy. The difference is that Sisyphus made the heaven fear, and as soon as they found out that Sisyphus was converting into a prime soul, they trapped him several layers below, in an upgraded version of the flesh prison. After the disappearance of God, some angels decided that they needed to do something to maintain order of the universe as God intended. So they made the Council of Heaven as the biggest authority of the universe. But soon they turned against their own people. They became arrogant, egocentric, and weak. But they were the only ones who could kill other angels, thanks to the God's light. And so they forced everyone below them to do as they said. And that will be everything. I know, the best part is to upload a single video and shit. But hear me out. I need more time to do the script and draw, record and edit. So hey, subscribe, leave a like, share with a friend, I don't know, and just that will be everything. Hey, also follow me on Instagram. I'm just recording this right now, and you should follow me on Instagram because I will be updating you on how everything is done, some sneak peeks of new videos and everything else, and that will be everything.